Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre!
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list!
Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy! Goodbye and good night. Hold two, arm bar!
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy! Yeah.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, the moss covered, three-handle family Gradunzo.
Mamma mia!
And now,
Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
it's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin! Number four, armbar! I will never retire! I still got 200 more! I got 200 more holes to list!
Alright, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I am your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Tuesday. You know what that means. We are doing multiple bonus episodes because a big weekend of Australian wrestling wrapped up. We can't even get to everything. I mean, there were some amazing shows that happened across this weekend. We were just talking before we went on air. I should mention, I'm joined by Ayden. Hi, Ayden.
Hello.
Yeah, we were just talking before we went on air about Future Wrestling Australia, right? That show looks like it was a really good show. I've seen some highlight clips, and just this morning, as we record this, one of the clips has gone up on Botchamania because Keegan sort of hit the ropes and fell through the ropes, and it looks brutal. But I've spoken to Keegan, and he says he's okay, and he thought the first thing he thought was, let's send this to Botchamania. So, I don't know, but there's a lot of shows on this weekend, is my point. There was stuff up in Queensland. AWA had The Purge. Suplex had Chapter 7 in this. There's a lot going on, and we're doing a couple of bonus episodes for the shows that us and our friends went to, basically. So MCW, they had friends at MCW, had friends at EPW, and of course you and I both went to Riot City Wrestlings, Reanimated, and Wrestle Rampage Never Surrender. What an amazing weekend it was.
Yeah, I only just woke up recently because I was all tired out from the wrestling. Like, after I got home from Rampage, I just flat backed on my bed and just didn't wake up.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it was difficult getting a hold of you for yesterday's Impact podcast. Sort of had to rush that one out. But, yeah, it can do that. Big weekends of wrestling. Because it's not just like, oh, I'm out. Like, for part of the show, you're standing and stuff as well. Like, we were in standing room only for Riot City Wrestling. And, yeah, it's also... wrestling can be emotionally exhausting. Emotionally,
and with the heat for the Rampage show, because it was like 400 people on a 40-degree day nearly in a hole. It wasn't pretty.
Well, when I left, I left the show before you. You stuck around, I know, but I left at like pretty much right after the final bell, and Jonah did all his goodbyes and everything, and I probably left the venue at 11:15 at night, and it was 37 degrees outside.
Ridiculous.
if it was 37 outside, I'm guessing that inside the venue, it would have been somewhere between 40 and 45.
Yeah, with all the people inside, would have been all the body heat and everything, even with the little aircon that they had, like going out the door.
Which thankfully, at one point of the show, they directed it towards us, like because they moved it around.
Yeah,
and it was hitting us for quite a while. It was nice.
Yeah, I saw a couple kids like walk up and go sit in front of it and put their face in it. I'm like, I wish I could do that without getting in trouble.
Yeah. When does it become no longer socially acceptable to put your head in the arm of the aircon vent? I feel like probably around 15 is probably the cutoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was an amazing weekend. Let's start where the weekend started. Riot City Wrestling at the HQ complex on Hindley Street, the heart of Adelaide nightlife. What a fucking amazing venue this was.
Yeah, it's very different for wrestling. The production value was fucking incredible.
Through the roof.
Yeah, HQ did like this full renovation of the venue from moving from West Terrace to Hindley Street.
Yeah.
And one of their main goals was the production, and I can see why. Holy shit.
Well, look, Riot City Wrestling have always had really good production. So I moved from Sydney initially. The first time I moved to Adelaide was about 6 years ago now. And that was when PWA was still at, like, Casula, right? And PWA were my big local promotion that I always went to. And I don't think they had video screens at that point or anything. And I remember coming down here, and it would have been at the Estonian.
Yep.
It would have been at the Estonian, and they had a video screen, and they had proper lights. They might have already moved to Latvian at that point. I can't remember if it was Estonian or Latvian. It was one of the European themed halls, and they had a video screen. They had crazy lights, and I was like, "This is insane! This is local wrestling in my own country." And and now, of course, since the game has been upped by everyone. Melbourne City Wrestling have a fantastic production over there. Since moving to Max Watts, PWA have, like, their production has gone through the roof. Being at that PWA Fridays Are for the Babes show felt like one of the biggest indie wrestling shows I've ever been to. Like, it felt like I was at a Progress show or something similar, and then this was just it was next level again. Like, they had pyro.
This is like the highest level of production I've seen for an Australian wrestling show, and I hope they keep doing it for the big shows.
Yeah, hands down. And World Series Wrestling are obviously going to run this venue in just a couple of weeks, so I'm very excited for that. But they had pyro. It was like the sparkler pyro, like AEW do, but that's still amazing.
Yeah, where else does that?
I lost my shit. Like, you were with me. You saw me. As soon as it happened, I'm like, the announcers are coming out before the show. And I'm like, what the fuck? There's pyro for the announcers. And then, of course, World Class Chris Basso got his as well.
The Pereira.
We'll get to the Pereira. Holy crap.
Fuck.
Their entrance was insane. I can't wait for people to see that one. I hope their entrance makes YouTube. but yeah, I guess the venue is amazing. The setup is fantastic. I will say this, though. I would have personally... I mean, I paid for standing room, right? $25 ticket. Do you know how much ringside was?
I think it was $30. Like, $5
Okay, yeah, so only $5 more. But I personally feel like the standing room ticket had a better view.
Yeah, because I've sat at the front before, and then I've gone to the standing, and you can see a lot more with the standing. And you're not in, like, a confined space with other people. It's just so free, and you can see a lot more. Personally, if you're going to World Series, I'd recommend standing.
Yeah, because at the HQ, it's like multi-level, so you can easily see the entire ring. And I guess the benefit of ringside is you get all the hand slaps and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's the benefit. So... But yeah, it was just an incredible venue. They had pyro. I lost my mind. It was the best looking Australian wrestling show I've ever been to. And I've been to the Thornbury. I've been to Max Watts, and they're both amazing. But this was just next level. The show started with Tony Toro and Kit Condor. And the first thing I noticed, of course, was Gorn. As we're at the HQ venue, Gorn is the staple of Riot City Wrestling, where South Australia are the last holdouts, I think, with this live commentary over the in-house PA. We're the only ones that do it still, and for this show, there was no live commentary, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, that's a gripe with a couple of the South Australian feds, the live commentary. And I was actually surprised that we didn't hear it. I'm just like, wait, is there something going wrong with the mics or anything?
I thought that at first too. Yeah.
And then, like, as the matches went on, I'm just like, okay, there's no live commentary. Good. I can just focus on the wrestling.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? And it's not a knock at all against Sean Fuster or Wolfdog, who I love their work. I think that they're decent commentators. I particularly look. Wolfdog is hilarious when he gets into character and does, supports the heels and all that sort of stuff. I'm a fan of what they do, but it was good to be able to just focus on the grabs and not be hearing extra stuff happening.
Yeah, and someone pointed out to me, it's like, well, if you got live commentary and if someone is kayfabe attacking someone and the announcers are going off, oh my god, he's behind him, why aren't these wrestlers turning around? Because they can clearly hear him.
Yeah, it does sort of kill it a little bit. But then there was one moment in the show, which we'll talk about in the Fatal 4-Way, where the live commentary would have helped me, because from my vantage point, I didn't necessarily see what was happening, but we'll get to that. So, Tony Toro, Kit Condor start us off. Short match. Tony Toro, like I predicted, cutting Kit Condor off at the pass anytime he tried to speed the match up. Tony's looking to slow it down, overpowering the rookie, as it were. Relatively easy win for Toro in his return match. He's looking good. He's looking crisp. And Condor, this is, I think, only his second match on the main cards for Riot City.
I caught the last part of that match because I had commitments beforehand. From what I saw, Tony training with Lance Storm and doing the tour in Canada, USA, he's definitely tightened himself up. He looks really good.
Yeah. He's polished off a few of the loose edges. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of what Tony Toro can do.
And I'm looking forward to Kit Condor as well, because he's someone that can connect with the crowd, and I like his whole little shtick he's got.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, he's still a little green, right? Like, he's only a couple matches in, but he's doing a fantastic job. And connecting with the crowd is a huge thing, and it's something Riot City Wrestling are pretty good at, and Kit Condor is fantastic at it. He's already got an instant connection. Let's talk about it. Where we were standing, there was a family right near us, right? So I was mistaken. I thought because this was at HQ, I thought this was going to be 18 plus, but it's a licensed all ages venue. So there were families there. And there was a little girl crying when Kit Condor was getting beaten up.
Isn't that what wrestling is all about?
Yeah.
It's more catering to the kids. We can be marks whatever we like. We want to control the booking, but they're doing it for those kids. Just watching their reactions the whole night towards everything. Like, later on during the Zach Sabbath stuff with Chris Basso, one of the girl was crying because Sabbath was getting beaten up. I'm like, aw.
Yeah, it was really, it's when you see the kids reacting, like I almost spent just as much time watching the kids reacting to the wrestling as I did watching the wrestling, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
Because we were so close to this one group of kids, and it was the older brother would constantly pick the person who the little sister was rooting for. He would pick the other person. And so they would have heat between them in this family. It was amazing. So that was just as entertaining. But my point was, of course, she was crying when Kit Condor was getting beaten up, and that's, you've connected. You've connected with someone. It was amazing. I was a big fan.
Yeah, me too. That's what they do it for, and I like when characters can connect to someone, especially at that young age.
Yeah, and then we move on. We had the 4-way get your shit in match. Stephen Miller, Dean Brady, Katie Trey, and Kurt Barron. Now, this one was great. Katie actually came out with a dog. I've never seen him come out with the dog head on before.
He's done it for a few shows now. I went to one of the Latvian shows and he came out with it. I'm like, that's different, but I like it.
Right, because I've missed a couple of shows because of clashes and personal life things and stuff. So I think the last show I went to was the one before 200, Key to the City, I think. And it's just I'd never seen him with the dog head. Obviously, I know he's got the chomping gimmick, and he had the dog collar match with Toro, and he has the fingers with the chomp taken out of him, which I love. I think it's hilarious. But coming out with the dog head, again, with the kids in attendance pop huge for that dog head.
And he was even like scratching behind his ears, giving mannerisms of like a dog. I'm just like,
yeah, it's
cool.
amazing.
That's just the little things.
Yeah, the little things matter for a lot, I'm a big fan of Katie Trey and what he's doing. I'm a big fan of actually everyone in this match. Every single one of these guys is really good. Dean Brady got taken out. So first they did the shield spot, right? Where they hit the triple power bomb on Kurt Barron, which was nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice little touch. Eliminate the big guy first, so the smaller guys can get together, like beat each other up without having to worry about Barron being in the match for a little bit.
Yeah, but then Dean Brady got pulled into the crowd by a fan, right? So there's someone at ringside in a grey hoodie pull him into the crowd and start beating the crap out of him. And this is the point where the live commentary probably would have helped me, because he had the hood up. And we're both there like, who is that? Who is that? Like, we can't... And then when the hood came down, he was right near the announce table and he was going to work the arm and hit the arm with the chair through the barricade, right? And we couldn't see. All we saw was the back of someone's head.
Yeah, like we're trying to
couldn't
speculate
make out who it was.
We're trying to speculate who it was, and I was looking through the socials to find it.
Yeah. So it turned out it was James Cray.
Yeah.
Of course, former member of the Millennials with Dean Brady.
Well, are they turning Dean heel face off of that, or because
I'm going to assume so.
Because like
Battle for Supremacy, Dean Brady has somewhat of a connection with the crowd already. I feel like the crowd were ready for him to turn face.
Battle of Supremacy, like there was little inklings of like maybe he's going to turn face because he was like arguing with a couple of people, arguing with him, questioning him and on things, and I think maybe he connects with the crowd a lot and he's really good. I think maybe a face turn would do him good, even though I love him as a heel.
Yeah, I enjoy his work as a heel. I enjoy the Millennials, but he definitely... I think it's time for us to see him as a face. I'm on board for this. If this is leading to a face turn, which I mean, obviously it is. He's they've put up on the social media that he suffered a broken arm and not sure if he's going to be back in time for the next live show and all this sort of stuff. That to me lends sympathy to the guy. And when he eventually gets his comeuppance on James Cray,
which I'm looking
that's going to be a big. Yeah, that's going to be a big pop, right? It's going to be a big pop from me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. Ultimately, Kurt Barron gets the win with a big lariat on Katie Trey back in the ring. So I feel like the stuff at ringside kind of distracted from the match, and there was still action happening in the ring. It wasn't like they didn't do like a triple down or something and then this happened. There was still action happening, so I have no idea what happened in the ring in this time. But ultimately, Kurt Barron gets the win with that big lariat. I think
Stephen Miller was like a standout for me in that match because I hadn't seen too much of him and I was really impressed with what I saw. And I'm always happy to see Katie. He's great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Like I said before on the preview, right? When I saw Miller for the first time at the last show, the Key to the City show that I went to, I thought, I've never seen this guy before and he's really impressive. And so, yeah, I went into it expecting to be impressed by him. And yeah, I like all four of these guys and I'm very excited for the future because I'm pretty sure all of these guys are fairly young into their careers. Like Katie's been doing it for 4 years or so. Brady probably about the same, maybe a little less than Katie. Yeah, so these guys are all Riot City originals, and as far as I know, I don't know a lot about Stephen Miller, so I probably shouldn't say that about Stephen Miller, but he's relatively new at least to the company, so I'm very excited about the future.
Yeah, me too. He has a lot of potential, and I hope he gets bigger shots later on because he really impressed me.
Yeah, I could see him in there with a Brooksy, with a Monero, with any of these guys. I think the Key to the City was against Rocky Monero. He was one of the guys who answered Rocky Monero when Monero was doing the open challenge. So yeah, I can see him, having a good run at. Honestly, he could tear it up with some of the upper mid like main event guys. To be honest with you. Yeah. Moving on though, we had Savannah Summers and Blair Alexis. Fairly easy win for Savannah Summers. Blair Alexis is great, man. She comes out to Megan Trainor, all about that bass. She uses the stink face. She uses the Yokozuna drop. It's great. I love the gimmick. I'm digging it.
I thought the match was a bit flat for me because I think, like what we spoke about, I'm pretty sure Indy was meant to be in a match against Savannah or like a 3-way or something. And this just felt like it was there. Like there was no real stipulation to it, and I just think the match didn't really flow that great.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I can understand that. But for me, yeah, it was all about the characters again, and watching the kids get into it, and yeah,
I was
Blair
dancing
Alexis
to
with
a
that.
theme song. Don't get me wrong.
all about the bass, man. All about the bass. I love it. Moving on, Chris Basso comes out, and he's with Pyro, by the way. World class entrance for world class Chris Basso comes out. Says he doesn't want to wait. He's calling out Zach Sabbath right now. We're going to get the title match straight away. We get the title match immediately, which kind of threw us off guard. We were like, whoa, this is happening already.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? Like, why is the main event now? And it kind of made sense later on why. But
Well, they were always billing it as a double main event.
But like we'll talk about later with the Pereira, I think that's maybe why they put it on last.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but with the match itself, Sabbath and Basso, I thought was probably my match of the night because I'm more about the in-ring action than anything. And Zach Sabbath and Basso, like, they have really great chemistry together. It was even better than the first match that they had, Battle for Supremacy.
They do. I only watched the Battle for Supremacy match on YouTube, but I will agree that for me, this match was better than the first match. They start off hot. They brawl through the crowd a little. There was a top rope Spanish fly at one point. There was a really cool spot that Basso, they were like trading on the top, and he ended up in a like Tree of Woe position, sitting up.
The Tree of Woe German
knocking
off the top rope, yeah.
Yeah. Tree of Woe German suplex. Holy crap, that spot was well executed. Like everything around it, like from how they got into their positions. Because sometimes a spot like that, right, with two guys who have less experience, who are just like, oh, let's do this spot, it'll look really cool. And they don't think about, yeah, but how do you get there, right? Because that can look pretty stupid setting up for that spot. But when they set up for this spot, it was clean. It was like, what's going to happen? Where are they? Oh, German, oh, crap, you know? It was like real jump out of your seat. That was an amazing spot. The way they set it up.
I thought Sabbath got dumped on his
professionals.
Head. Like, I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck?
You know how I feel about head bumps and neck bumps, but like reverse Ranas and shit kill me.
Speaking of,
which I'm pretty sure there was one of those in this
Sabbath
match.
done a poison Rana, and you next to me, you were just like, nope.
Yeah, I can't. When I see them getting set up, I'm like, no. Pile drivers and stuff. Like some of my favorites have been taken out with pile drivers and similar moves. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know. I feel like when I was a kid too, I'd never bat an eye at it. It was just like, yeah, but I don't know. Like as a grown man with children, I'm like that poor person in the ring. Like that's gonna hurt.
But yeah,
Anyway,
that match itself was just fantastic. And when it comes out on the YouTube, please do watch it. Zach Sabbath and Basso are both fantastic.
It definitely was. Now the ending though, was Basso meant to kick out? Did the ref? What happened there? Because there was a double pile driver. He hit the pile driver, right, and then stayed hooked around the midsection, got straight back up and hit a second pile driver. Brilliant spot. Like that's clearly the end. And then we got a 2 count. And I'm not sure if the ref messed it up.
I think it was the
like
ref. I think he screwed it up because they were both. Basso didn't look like he was going to kick out. He just laying there like, what the hell?
Yeah, he looked dead to me.
And Sabbath was like, what
I don't know why it was a 2 count. Yeah,
just picks him up,
it was very
him on his head again with another pile driver, and it was over.
And then they got the 3. Yeah, it was a very confusing moment for a second. It kind of killed the heat from the crowd because the crowd were ready to pop for the initial 3 count, but then it didn't happen, and everyone was like, "Wait, what just happened?" And so it didn't get the finish pop that it should have gotten because it was an incredible match. And yeah, I'm gonna have to see it back on the YouTube replay to see exactly what happened there. But it was there was a little bit of miscommunication, it looked like, and the ending suffered a little. But then the big angle straight after that match, Matt freaking Hayter shows up.
Yeah, who would have seen that coming? Like, I saw Sabbath and Selena in the ring talking, like, what's going on? Because I couldn't really see. Then all of a sudden you see Matt Hayter walk across the stage, pick up a mic, and the lights go out. And he's just there talking. Yeah. I'm like, oh, holy shit, he's made the jump.
Yeah, so he cuts a promo about, you people may not know who I am, but I'm all ego, blah, 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 right? He gives his whole spiel and says that he's coming for Zach Sabbath's title. And Zack Sabre is like, why do you think, like you said, no one knows who the hell you are. Why do you think I would give you a shot at my title? He's like, well, I'm here to make an impression, right? Boom. Super kick Selena. Gets a pop from the crowd for this and bails out of the ring. Now, it's a real confusing situation, but it's also real interesting because the crowd are sort of organically turning Zack Sabre face. He's a heel. He's using people in the crowd as shields, right? We talked about this on the preview, but he's getting cheered.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic. Like, Hayter came out as like people were booing him a little bit, like as if they didn't know who he was. And he's like, only get one chance to make a first impression. Super kicks Selena and just gets the biggest pop of the night. I'm like, holy shit, that's how you turned someone from heel to a face in one move. And
yeah, but it was weird though, because I guess the crowd still have some leftover resentment towards Selena for turning on Chris Basso, even though they like Zack Sabre as well. And after the match, Zack Sabre and Chris Basso, we should talk about that. They fist bumped, right? Like they had that show of respect. Yeah. So it's almost like Zack Sabre is a face, but then the crowd was still mad at Selena for turning on Chris Basso, who they also like. So they were happy to see her get her head super kicked right off her shoulders. Point. Yeah, it was just real confusing. I'm like, to me, it was pretty clear what was happening, but I'm like, it was a very interesting situation. Let's put it that way. Wrestling crowds are a thing unto themselves.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, as you said, like who they pick to choose for, who they pick to cheer for, who they pick to boo for. It's like we discussed that. Yeah. It's like maybe they should commit to booing, but still loving them.
Yeah, boo the bad guys. Boo the bad guys. That's my philosophy. Anyway, after intermission, we get told by Luke Santa Maria that Hammer has had to retire due to neck injuries. So, assuming this is a shoot, which I have no reason not to assume it's a shoot. Best wishes to Hammer and his family, because no one wants to see that happen, of course. But yeah, he's retired due to neck injuries, and so he was the key to the city holder, and so now we have no one with the key to the city. So to rectify this, Luke Santa Maria, who is of course the Riot City Wrestling GM, has decided that Adam Brooks versus Rocky Monero will now be for the key to the city. So whoever wins that match is going to have an instant title shot up their sleeve.
Yeah, it's sad to see someone go because of injury, and it was leaving questions like, well, who's going to be the key to the city holder? And I'm glad that they went with that match, because from what I saw of it, I was dealing with some things. It was a good match. I think the crowd took a little while to take to Monero at the start. Was it maybe a bit slow? Maybe some chemistry? I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, Monero is pretty over with the Riot City Wrestling crowd normally, so I don't know what was going on there, but the crowd were very much split. They actually did a really cool spot at the start of the match. Well, that match was after anyway. We had one more match before we get to that. So let's just quickly touch on the Rude Ones, Gods and Monsters. This was like a really good, like this was post-intermission, just a solid, and I mean this as a compliment too. A lot of people will think it's not, but it was a solid WWE-style tag matchup, right? Yeah, probably the biggest spot, and the best spot in the match was they did a distraction spot with Venus from the Rude Ones distracting, and then Mickey Fortune actually, so she's distracting the ref, and instead of the Rude Ones getting to take advantage of this, Mickey Fortune, who was at ringside with Gods and Monsters, she took advantage and hits a big splash on Bulldog. That was probably my favorite part of the match.
Yeah, I'm all in on Mickey Fortune. She's they continued on with at the Battle for Supremacy. They had like the 6-man tag. It was Gods and Monsters and Mickey against the Rude Ones.
Against the Rude Ones,
yeah. They put her out, so she's like, well, I'm just going to put you out and cost them the match.
Yeah. No, it was good. I really enjoyed it. Gods and Monsters win. Yeah, solid tag team matchup. But then we get the Adam Brooks versus Rocky Monero, which is close to match of the night for me, but I had to give it to the tag title match at the end of the night. But yeah, Rocky ends up winning the key to the city with a small package. So just like I predicted, now we're 1-1. These two have to have a rubber match at some point down the road. It won't happen immediately, I don't think. But I don't know if it was just selling. It obviously was, because he worked the next night in Melbourne. But Brooksy looked like he hurt his knee. Right? Like you saw him at the end of the match limping off.
It might have just been really good selling.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I legitimately thought at some point that he may have hurt his knee, but yeah, I guess it was just selling. I didn't even think to ask when I spoke to Brent about Melbourne City Wrestling. I didn't even think to ask if Brooksy was limping at all. But yeah, I think it was just an incredible sell job, which, I mean, hats off to the man, because I bought into it. I was worked completely. This was a great match. I think that their first match at 200 may have been better. I have to rewatch this one on the replay to know for sure, because it's hard to tell whether I'm being biased because I was there live and I'm thinking in my head, I think this match was better, but I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it too, because I didn't get to catch all of it either. I had some personal issues to deal with. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. But it was a really good match. They had a double suplex spot, where Monero hits the superplex and then rolls straight through and hits another suplex. There was also a power bomb from the top rope into a fighting spirit spot, right? So he power bombs Brooksy off the top, and Brooksy pops up and fires back, and it was just very intense. There were some very intense moments in this match, and Rocky ultimately won with a small package. So it was a really, really good matchup. But the main event, definite match of the night for me, and holy crap, the Perea, their entrance. The Armstrongs came out first, of course, the challengers, Nick and Jeff Armstrong. But he's the champ. That's right. The champ is here. But the Perea, let's talk about their entrance for a second. They had a DJ on the stage, and they had like a whole build-up. Like the music slowly built up. It was like you were at an EDM festival. The lights were next level for this match. They had like the full lighting set up like you were at a rave. It was intense.
Yeah, they had a guy called Transit come in to do the actual DJ set for them. I thought it was just for show, but it was actually someone that they brought in. And yeah, just the way they had the lights synchronized with the music and like had this whole build up, and then they came out with pyro as well. I'm like, as you said on the night, you could feel the entrance in your bones. It was fed. I loved it.
Right. Yeah, the music, like the production level went up another notch when the Perea made their entrance, and I could feel like my bones vibrating. It was amazing. And then they went and had a fantastically worked match. For me, it was easily match of the night, which is really saying something, given both the Adam Brooks and Monero match, and of course your choice, the Sabbath and Basso match. The crowd were into every hot tag. Eros and Theseus work so well together. Again, watching the kids near me just getting into this match was insane. Ultimately, the Perea come out on top, but not before a few incredible false finishes and near falls with Armstrongs pulling refs out and all sorts of good shenanigans. That was probably my favorite one, when they pulled the ref out and the little girl got so excited because she thought that her team had won.
She didn't realize.
And then she didn't realize, and I actually broke the news to her. I was like, no, he pulled the ref out. The ref didn't count the third count. And she was like, you saw it, right? You saw it in her eyes. Her heart broke. And I'm just like, that's what we're all here for sure. It was amazing. This match was incredible. Hats off to all four guys. Especially the Perea, but really all four of these guys are amazing. And if they're not being booked around the country, I don't know what's going on.
I've always liked the Armstrongs, even the singles wrestlers, but as tag wrestlers, I think they have great chemistry with anyone. They're great workers, and I think everyone should be booking them, even All Elite.
Yeah, there should definitely be eyes on them. But that does it for Riot City Wrestling.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Sorry to interrupt the podcast, B+ players, but I just need to take a second to tell you about Threadbox. Threadbox is a subscription service for men that makes looking good easier than ever before. Just fill out a few questions to start building your style profile, and from there you will be paired with a stylist who will send you new threads once a month, so you don't have to worry about checking the stores and finding new clothes. It's like having a personal shopper and stylist at your fingertips, and you just sit back, relax, wait for your awesome new gear to arrive in the mail. They sent me a box this month. I got a new pair of jeans. I got 2 shirts. You can check out the unboxing video on the Facebook page. And the best part about it is you can get in touch with your stylist by email at any time. So if you need new singlets, if you need new long sleeves, if you need new shoes, if there's something specific you want, You just let them know what you need and they'll tailor the box to your specific requests. It's a completely personalized service available on any budget. You'll always get way more value than you pay for because Threadbox work with all the best brands. Boxes start from just $40, and if you use our code, the B+15 at checkout today, you're going to get 15% off your first box. So what are you waiting for, man? Like, if you want to look better with less effort, head to threadbox.com.au and use the code the B+15 to get your box today. We are all WWE fans here. It's why we're here, listening to this show and spending inordinate amounts of hours consuming, complaining, and just generally eating, sleeping, and breathing professional wrestling. But if you want to take that to the next level, the only place to do it is WrestleMania 35 in the city so nice that they named it twice New York. And our new friends at All Aussie Travelers are going to help you make that happen in the best way possible. They are new to the wrestling travel game, granted, but they have over 15 years experience in sports and event tours between the US and Australia, so you know you're in good hands. They want to offer you an exclusive WrestleMania package, including return flights to the USA, 6 nights at the New Yorker Hotel right next to Times Square. And the thing that sets these packages apart are the VIP suites that AAT have secured for WrestleMania. So that's, of course, the Raw after WrestleMania. So not only are you going to go to the Hall of Fame, not only are you going to go to WrestleMania 35, but for NXT TakeOver, SmackDown Live, and the Raw immediately after WrestleMania that next night, you are going to be in an exclusive VIP suite that is not normally available to the public. But AAT, they got it locked down. They got it waiting for you with your name on it, your own private entrance, your own private toilets and bar, as well as an unparalleled view in the most comfortable seats in the house. You can experience WrestleMania weekend like never before, all at really competitive prices. So head over to All Aussie Travelers on Facebook, hit that like button, send him a message, send an email to Jack, that's JAAK, at allaussie.com.au, and let them know the B Plus sent you. The next night, of course, we were at Port Adelaide Waterside Workers for Wrestle Rampage Never Surrender, the first show back of the year for both of these companies. We should say that was the first show back, but yeah.
What a hot day it was for wrestling.
It was so hot, dude. It was oppressively hot in that venue, but you know, like I said, the aircon helped.
And they had the lights off as well, like at the back, which was nice. So you didn't have like the overhead lights like, in your face.
Yeah, definitely that helps. So let's go through the card. This one, of course, is already available on Vimeo for anyone who wants to watch. So the Riot City Wrestling one, that'll go on YouTube. I'll put the link in the show notes to their YouTube channel. That'll go up probably in about 2 weeks. It normally takes for them to get those up. But Rampage, super quick turnaround. Quickest turnaround in the business because they did a live stream, of course. So if you didn't watch the live stream on Clean, which I know there were people watching, I saw the hashtag. They had a few technical difficulties at the start of the stream, but they got it going. And the replay is already available on Vimeo. It's $5 to rent. It's definitely worth watching. Show starts with a 5-pack challenge match, which was originally supposed to be a 6-pack challenge. I don't know what happened
Kazaran Code wasn't in the match for some reason, but it didn't take from it at all. I still thought it was fun.
No. So Dean Valenti, Corey Adams, Link Barnett, Nick Golfus, Einar Ironside. They start off with a couple human centipede spots. I've gone on record before of saying I'm not a huge fan of human centipede spots, especially when they did the arm wrench one, and I was like, okay. But they did do one human centipede spot at one point in this match that was really good, where they all had like a leg scissors on one another, and then I can't remember who it was. Was it Valente that turned them all over with a Boston Crab?
I think it was Link Barnett who done the Boston Crab. Yeah.
Link Barnett? Right. Yeah, and so he turned all 4 of the opponents over into and that was cool. I enjoyed that one. The dive spots, though, when they got away from the human centipede stuff, and they did... Oh, wait, no, before the dives, they did the body slam spot.
Yeah, every person... Like, Link Barnett was trying to partner up with people through the match. Hey, let's team. We'll take on these guys together, 2v1. And every time he approached someone different, they'd power slam him. And he got through all 4...
Yeah, so he got a body slam from all 4 competitors, and then just out of nowhere, the referee just picks him up and body slams him. Picture perfect body slam, by the way.
Huge for it.
It was massive. And then straight away he was like, "Oh no, what did I do? Why did
the ref
I'm so
selling
sorry."
of it was fantastic.
It was such a good spot. And at this point, I was like, okay, I'm all in on this match. The dive spots, they all take their turn doing their dives and what have you. Everyone's going everywhere. Ironside getting this, like he was like stomp, stomp, clap going, and the crowd were into it. It was a really good match. I think the highlight, the best spot too, was probably, if not the referee spot, Link Barnett doing a double German. Right, like, so he German suplexed two guys at once, which was impressive.
It was either that, the power slam, or I liked Owner's dive onto the outside onto the four guys. Like, he like leaped onto the rope and then done like a flip onto the outside. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, but ultimately Einar Ironside gets the win, feeding his inner Fenrir. I'm very interested to see where this goes. Other than the human centipede spot at the start, I really loved this match. Moving on though. Oh wait, we should also talk about after the match. So it was Einar got the pin on Nick Golfus. And did it seem to you like Nick Golfus was acting a little dickish on his exit?
He seemed pretty grumpy. Maybe it's a sign of things to come. Maybe he was just angry he lost the match. Can't really talk too much on that.
Yeah, I'm sensing a heel turn. I don't know, obviously, and I love Nick Golfus as he is, but if there's a heel turn coming, especially, when I spoke to him on the podcast, he was like, my close personal friend, Robbie Eagles. If you translate that into your actual character and, keep talking, like when Robbie's not there, especially, and you're like, yeah, well, my close personal friend, Robbie Eagles, right? It comes across as like, yeah, you're a dick. But in the podcast, he was joking.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear. It wasn't, I don't think Nick Golfus the person is a dick, but no, it's one of those things where that can make a really good heel character, especially because he's coming out now with the Robbie bandana around his neck as well. And it can be seen as dick riding. Yeah, of the most successful guy in Australian wrestling. So I think that
it could lead to a lot of good heat. So
yeah, and then of course, getting angry when he's losing matches. I'm sensing maybe a potential heel turn, and if it's happening, I'm here for it. Speaking of turns, Tyler Trench was working heel. He was the Nightmare, but he's dropped that, and he has been rebirthed as the Corn Dog. And he's bringing the sauce, Ayden.
How fast people brought to that connected to that character, it was ridiculous.
He was so over, like this, like, so he comes out and people are like, what is this? Why is he dressed like that? He's got yellow and red. He's got the hat on, Corn Dog sauce in massive letters up his sides. And people are like a little bit confused. And then Robbie Hart, voice of the people, is like, what the fuck is going on? Right? Like he gets on the mic and he's like, what the shit are you? And yeah, Corn Dog was just like, yeah, I'm Corn Dog. I'm bringing the sauce. And everyone just popped for it. It was I don't know how to explain it.
Go watch it on Vimeo.
It's one of those things that can't be explained.
Of what we saw.
You just got to watch it for yourself and you'll get it, right? Like if you watch it, you get it. It's the sauce. He's bringing the sauce. And then he started punching and just organically everyone in the crowd is just like, sauce, sauce, sauce. So he's doing the dusty punches. And it was incredible. And just how quickly this character got over. And then in intermission, I saw him walking around in intermission. When people realized, because he was just walking around with a Sniper Nick Golfus shirt on and stuff, he wasn't still in his gear. And when people realized that it was Corn Dog, there were people lining up for photos with him.
It's a way to get a character over. Like,
yeah, it was just instant. And his smile is infectious, so he makes a really good, fun baby face. Right? I'm all in on this gimmick. I'm still not entirely sure what it is. If you ask him what's a Corn Dog, he's just like, well, it's a Corn Dog, man. and if you ask him what's the sauce, he's like, the sauce, man. It's the sauce. Like it's one of those things that you have to experience it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, go watch the Vimeo. I'm guaranteed you'll love it.
Yeah. The confusing thing for me though was Corn Dog wins. And then Robbie Hart gets on the mic and he's like, I need a bigger challenge. You just lost, mate.
I think he feels a bit embarrassed, so maybe that's why he wants a bigger challenge to prove he's still someone not to mess with. Yeah.
To come back from. Yeah, I guess I can see that as an angle. So then we move on and we get Eagles versus Istria title matches going on right before intermission. I'm here for it though because the main events were spectacular. So let's get to it. Eagles versus Istria. This is the second time they've had a match recently. Istria sort of this was a really good match. There was a bit of a spot in there where Istria gets in Golfus' face and then brings him in the ring and attacks him and stuff. And then Istria ended up winning the match by submission with the armbar. That finishing sequence was incredible. It was very very MMA inspired, right? Like after the 450 and then moving into the holds and what have you.
Istria and Eagles have really great chemistry, as you said. They faced off at the 18 plus show. I'm like, people need to see this match. Yeah,
Fowlers,
people
that's
need
where it
to
was.
see this match.
Yeah.
Like, it was unreal, and I'm glad people got to see it because they put on wrestling wise. That was my match of the night.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's a big call.
Wrestling wise,
it was. I like big boy matches though. So, I mean, I love this match. Don't get me wrong. This match was incredible. It was. I was all in on this match, and it was a very good. Like this could main event. It gets said all the time, and I get sick of saying it. Even could main event any card around the country, but really, it could.
It really could.
Really, it could. Yeah.
Istria needs to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to keep saying it. Istria needs to be everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on, we get back from intermission, and Ben Rosenthal announces that he's found an opponent for Robbie Hart, and we get a live video feed all the way from Melbourne. The Kingly of Dingley is accepting Robbie Hart's challenge, and he was in the pool. He was floating on his floaty, and he was referencing all the things Robbie Hart said. So somehow, after defending his title at Melbourne City Wrestling, he showered, got home, got in the pool, loaded up the live stream, and was like, "Oh yeah, I'll face that guy," and then shot a video to send in to Wrestle Rampage. What a workhorse Adam
I know,
Brooks
right?
is.
I don't know how he done it. He's an international man of mystery, but
Wait, hang on. Are you saying that Adam Brooks is Scorpio Corp? That doesn't work. Twitter. No. But yeah, Brooksy promo, very well done. I thought it was good. So Brooksy is going to face off against Robbie Hart at the next show.
Which is called Uprising, and that is on the 2nd of March.
2nd of March, yes. And that one's at Waterside Workers again?
Is.
Yeah, hopefully it's not as hot.
I hope not. Summer will be over then, so...
Yeah. So then Mike Boomer comes out and with the Covenant, and he's calling everyone ugly. And, of course, Vanity Inc. weren't booked on this card, so they decide to come out, and they take exception to being called ugly, of course.
I was so happy that they came out because I'm like, where are Gorgeous Greg and Big Willie? We need them on this show.
Yeah. So they go to set up a tag match, and then Havoc turns on Vanity Inc., leaving them just as big and gorgeous, I suppose. And he joins the Covenant now. So now we get the Covenant that's represented by Brother Bellows and Havoc taking on Big and Gorgeous. It was a good match, good tag match. Brother Bellows gets in illegally, distracting the ref. That allows Joni and Boomer to interfere, and they cut off because Big Willie was on after the hot tag, and he was doing all the big spots, and they sort of cut him off, and Covenant get the win. It was again really good tag.
Yeah, I
match.
thought it was fun, even though it was like set up then and there on the spot. They done well with what they had to do. And,
yeah.
I think that was like an unintentional face turn for Vanity Inc. because they're usually the big heels.
Yeah.
Which
I don't know how unintentional
it's intentional, but unintentional because usually like the last shows they were getting booed and stuff. But I'm pretty sure they just popped more for the theme song because simply the best.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, Big Willie gives very much Joey Ryan vibes with his gear and his moustache and his Big Willie. I think the potential for a face run is absolutely there, and getting jumped by someone else in your unit is kind of it was very much an intentional face turn as far as I could tell. So it was a good match, Covenant win, and then that immediately goes into Rat Daddy versus Boomer, because Rat Daddy, of course, is taking on the leader of the Covenant, Mike Boomer. Mike Boomer attacks before Rat Daddy is ready, But the Covenant just sort of kept getting involved throughout this match. They end up getting kicked out, but Joni is still there, and she tries her hand at getting involved as well. She eats a super kick. Rat Daddy hits like 3 super kicks, like a solo super kick party on Mike Boomer, and gets the win.
Yeah, I'm happy for Rat Daddy. After chasing the Australian national title, he ended up picking up the win with the Cruiserweight Cup. So that made me happy.
Yeah, so new Cruiserweight Cup champion Rat Daddy. Yeah.
I thought that...
Which, is there anyone more over in Adelaide
I
than Rat
think
Daddy?
Corn Dog.
No, the Corn Dog pop was huge. He's probably a close second, to be honest with you. I feel like for the entire weekend, the biggest pops were Rat Daddy, Corn Dog,
I think Ironside had a pretty big pop too.
Sabbath and Basso were like the next one. That was a smaller room, same amount of people. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but I'm calling it. Rat Daddy is the most over guy in Adelaide. Like, he gets the same level pop as Jonah. It's
Everyone
insane.
loves Rat. It's like, how can you not connect with him? That was the whole point of the whole Covenant thing. It's like Rat Daddy's brainwashing all these people, trying to tell them like what he's doing is right, and Rat Daddy's the ultimate sinner, drinking shoeies and all this kind of stuff.
Snorting cheese, dropping craft singles tabs. Anyway, Rat Daddy is insane. Then we get, of course, after we've crowned that new champion, the main event. The reason we're all there, let's be honest, all the other matches were great, but we were all there for one reason. It was Jonah's last match. Jonah Rock, Tommy Knight, and Tommy Knight gets the rub. A big way. He gets the win over Jonah with a submission victory.
Yeah,
over Jonah.
It wasn't
Rock
a pinfall, it wasn't a submission. Jonah passed out.
Wait,
no, he didn't pass. He didn't
tapped.
tap. He passed out.
Okay.
So stoppage.
Yeah. Referee stoppage. Yeah, it's still big win, and for an MMA guy, right? Because he is an MMA guy. They even played that up in the build. His promo was done at the MMA training center. A referee stoppage is a good finish, and given the champion AJ Istria and his background also in MMA and those sorts of training techniques, I think he was a gymnast as well, from what I'm told. But very much mixed martial arts inspired, makes for a very interesting matchup moving forward, because after the match, which I will say was incredible, I'm not going to recount the spots, it was a really great big boy match, and just mind-blowing. I can't believe that Tommy Knight has only been doing this for like 2 years. It's insane how good he is, and of course he's in there with Jonah fucking Rock, one of the best big men in the world, not just the country. So the match, you just got to watch it. Go to Vimeo. It's $5 to rent this show, $10 to own it forever, and you want to own it forever. Trust me. It's an incredible show with a fantastic main event. You need to watch this. Do yourself the favor. Watch the match. But after the match, AJ Istria gets on the mic, and he wants Tommy Knight to be his next challenger.
After putting over Jonah Rocks, saying he's standing in the ring with greatness, it was an emotional speech.
Right. And saying that the one thing he regrets on his path to the title is turning on Jonah.
Wherever you go,
well.
Take me with you, because whenever I defend this belt, I'm going to have you with me in spirit.
Yeah. It was very touching, but of course, and then it culminated in challenging, which is something Rampage do that they take from Japan that I really like, is the champion. I know in other contexts I've said I don't like the champion making challenges. It depends on the promotion, right? In Rampage, that's sort of the way it's done. The champion challenges the champion names who they're going to face next.
Yeah, it's unique. You don't have all these qualifying matches or whatever. You either pin the champion in like a tag match or whatever, or the champion calls you out.
Yeah, so I know I sound inconsistent because I'm like, I love it how they do this, but because at other times I'm like, I hate it when champions make challenges, but that's in a different context where in that promotion it's not a thing that normally happens. So yeah, in this case, when AJ Istria challenges Tommy Knight, I love it. I'm really looking forward to that match, March 2nd. It's going to be a good one. But it's obviously highly emotional. Jonah gives his speech, gives his farewell speech. There were
Just let
streamers
it dry
everywhere.
eye in the building.
I shed a couple tears. You were getting choked up. I saw a lot of people getting choked up. There were people at ringside absolutely bawling their eyes out. I lost it. The point I lost it was when Jonah called his wife into the ring.
What a moment that was.
Yeah, and he sort of encouraged us all. You know, he said he's traveled around the world and he's had his name chanted and, you know, people thanking him and please come back and all these things. But just he encouraged us to do that for his wife because she deserves it too, because she's been such a great support. I'm getting emotional talking about it. It was very touching. It was a beautiful send off for Jonah, for everyone in the company. It was a moment.
It really was, and it was a great send off. And best of luck to wherever he goes. Honestly,
yeah, absolutely. So we still don't know, but officially where he's going. But wherever he goes, we know he's going to kill it. And that does it for us here. You can, as I said, get the shows, subscribe to the YouTube for Riot City Wrestling. You'd want to see this show. And it's already available. Wrestle Rampage on Vimeo, $5 to rent, $10 to buy. If you want to support us here at the B+, you can do so on Patreon to get in on our mission of Watch Global, Support Local. Every dollar comes in, goes straight into building this platform and exposing more Aussie wrestling to more people. It's what we're all about here. You can find me at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B+ Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. B+ Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you so much for listening.
Hold one. Arm drag.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. Arm bar.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it. Dummy. Hold three. The moss covered.